Hello there, everyone over there in the YouTube world. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out today's video. Once again, my name is Sculpted. This is going to be a little bit of a quick video, but it definitely will have some details I'll have to implement, which might add some time to it, but I'll try to make it as short and sweet as possible. And this video is actually going to be on the topic of conversion and how to use it, or when you should use it, or how are you even able to use it. So if any of these questions are questions that you guys have, then do stay tuned and check out the video, because I feel like this is going to be really helpful. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So now, of course, the million-dollar question: what is conversion? Well, what conversion is a mechanic in the game that allows you to subtract your white life that you've accumulated. As you can tell, Striker has a little bit of white life on her health bar there, as well as a little bit of your permanent health, which is that yellowish orange color, in order to essentially do an animation cancel, or to give yourself a situation where you put yourself in a plus state depending on how you use it. So a lot of people in the fighting game community tend to compare this a lot to what it was known as a Roman cancel in a lot of older fighting games, or at least a few of them. So this is similar in the sense of those other games, but the fact that it's reliant on your HP is what makes it a lot harder to use and not as accessible to use, unless of course they're playing characters like Berserker or Troubleshooter, who they themselves can give themselves white life at any point, so they could utilize this mechanic at any given point in time, which is really good on their part, of why I think they're one of the best characters in the game to play. But that's going to be a topic for a different video. But anyway, so conversion, what does it look like? Well, it looks like this. As you can tell, I have about 5% of my HP white life, but I spend about 10%. So it does seem like whatever amount of HP that you have in white life, you do spend about 5% of your permanent health as well, perhaps maybe around 10%. It's kind of hard to tell and gauge off of this, but that does seem about like 10% total to me. So you spend your white life and a little bit of your permanent life in order to have an animation cancel. So now the question is when do you use it? Why would you use it? How can you use it? Which again, it's tied to your health bar. So the crazy thing about it is that, again, unless you're playing a character like Berserker or Troubleshooter who can willingly give themselves white life whenever they want, it is not a mechanic that you playing any other character will probably be able to use all that often, because if you hit an opponent with a mana special move, that is permanent damage. Their health is gone, and that would include any white life they may have accumulated during the time that you're punching them. So mana special moves, if they're being blocked, as you can tell on Berserker's HP, it accumulates white life. But if all that white life, if he's no longer guarding, you subtract all of their white life from them if you hit them with their mana special move, and whatever damage you accumulated on them with white life, it all goes along with it. So typically in the play of the game, your best option as the adversary to the person you're fighting is to always end your combo in a mana special move. So then that way, you don't leave your opponent with white life to be able to utilize conversion, because it is such a powerful tool that can catch a lot of people off guard, or give you access to things or abilities to do things that you would not be able to do otherwise. So, for example, but let's say I do have my white life and he ended up, trying to, open me up and take my white life away using a mana special move, but he failed to do so. And I, again, guard cancel him off of me, and I'm still left with this white life. Well, it would allow me the availability to use conversion, which in this situation, I would do something along the lines of this. What I just did there is I just did my advancing forward 6S punch, which covers a lot of ground in a short amount of time and has a pretty big hitbox. But being able to use conversion out of it allowed me to do it a second time immediately, even though on whiff or even on hit, there tends to be a pretty decent recovery time on this move. Now, that's just one way to be able to use conversion, and one way that I see a lot of professional players or higher level players utilize conversion is specifically for the purpose of using a move that covers a lot of ground that has a hitbox so that it keeps your opponent at bay or away from you, to then conversion out of it to do that move again, covering even more ground and making that area even more dangerous, because now you have two instances where that area that striker is punching is now a hitbox, which then can get you hit. So that is one way I see a lot of people utilizing conversion. But again, that's only if you happen to not get hit in a combo and your opponent doesn't finish you with, or finish the combo with a mana special move, thus getting rid of your white life. Now, the other thing you also got to keep in mind too is that your health does recover from white life naturally. It just naturally does. That's the purpose of white life. You can either keep your white life and let it naturally recover so you can, hopefully not get, killed by a 60-70% combo the next time around, or you can spend your white life in order to get conversion, just like so. So it's a balancing act, right? Because again, if you're attacking your opponent with these mana special moves, and let's say he were to use conversion in that instance, well, he's going to lose about 30% of his HP, and I didn't actually technically hit him. So you really do have to play this balancing game on if whether or not it's worth spending your HP for a conversion, or maybe, if it opens up your opponent and it allows you to win because you utilize conversion, then that's kind of the decision that you have to make. So conversion, in my personal opinion, is absolutely not a tool that is utilized for defensive purposes. It is definitely more so in a revenge tool. You get hurt, so therefore you hurt yourself to then hurt your opponent, which they can do the same thing. It's definitely a revenge tool. Being able to punch to then conversion on moves that typically are not safe. So for example, again, on miss, Striker's 6S has a lot of recovery, about 33 frames if I'm not mistaken. Let's say if I'm trying to go after Berserker and I miss, I can conversion and back out of it. So it can be used in a defensive way like that, but that's still more so aggressive in my personal opinion. Missing a move, using conversion, try to back out of it, or conversion to then continue with your assault, is definitely two different methods of which you can utilize conversion. You can even use conversion for, like extra hits or combos that you probably wouldn't be able to do, or maybe just to get a little bit of extra damage that you probably couldn't get otherwise if you didn't have conversion. So, I mean, just to kind of display this, for example, so I can go into a shoulder charge, into 1-inch punch, into shoulder charge with the, amount of mana that I have, 130. But if I go shoulder charge into 1-inch punch, into shoulder charge into conversion, I can get a fourth hit, another 1-inch punch. And if I needed that extra bit of mana, because conversion not only essentially cancels your animation at any point in the animation, it also gives you back mana equivalent to the amount of HP that you spent with your white health. Which, because again, your mana does increase due to how much max health you have. If you conversion, you do give yourself more mana. So that's the concept. You're trading health for mana. It also has an animation cancel, so it's very much so a revenge tool and a way to extend combos or potentially get extra hits. For example, I can use conversion against Berserker, and normally if I do just a jumping medium into light, I can get about 2 lights out of it, right? What I can do instead is I can go medium, I could jump medium light conversion into a 3rd light, right? And maybe he didn't expect it, and because I conversion so low to the ground, normally opponents would probably think that I'm about to go for a low hit or they need to start crouching low, but instead I got another 2 overheads even though I'm so low to the ground. So again, conversion is an absolutely powerful tool. It cancels you out of all of animation at any point of an animation, other than if you're doing your invincible or your DP move, however you want to refer to it as. It gives you mana based on the amount of health that you get rid of, And it allows you the opportunity to make unsafe moves safe, or if you miss a move, you can then become safe from missing, so you don't have to deal with recovery frames. However, conversion is such a free-form mechanic. People have utilized this in so many different ways, and I do believe we're still just barely scratching the surface. There's still so much to discover in different ways to implement this mechanic. But again, it's going to be very hard for you to be able to utilize this tool unless your opponent used the mana special move while you blocked it and they somehow backed off. And again, you were able to approach them and utilize conversion before your health bar naturally healed back up that white bit, which does happen at times. There have been times where I went to go use conversion, but my health bar recovered it in the exact frame that I was planning on using it, which put me in a really bad situation. So situational awareness of your health, what's white life you have, should you use conversion, when there's so much to have to think about, which makes it such a complex mechanic. And you know, essentially choosing when to use it is going to separate what makes the boys and the men. What separates the boys from the men are those who can utilize conversion properly, effectively, consistently, you know, if they happen to have the white life. So anyway, I really do hope that this video was found to be helpful. If you guys have any comments or opinions on this, or if you want to even tell me things that you yourself have done utilizing conversion, I would love to hear all about it in the comments of the video. Also, if you just kind of want to come and hang out with me during one of my streams, I do stream every day, Monday through Friday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I go till 9. So link in the description for my Twitch page there as well. So if you wanted to talk with me more about conversion or just anything else you see in my videos, then that's kind of where I'm at most of the time. So don't be shy. But of course, subscribe to the channel, like the video if any of this was found helpful, and if you want to get, you know, updated for when more videos come. And that was it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.